Professor Pat Utomi, the founder of the Center for Value in Leadership, has joined the league of those in the Diamond Age, and that called for celebration. Enjoy. Professor Pat Utomi, the founder of the Center for Value in Leadership and one-time presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Mego Party, a man with a reputation of being outspoken. Pat Utomi is a professor of political economy and management expert and a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants of Nigeria. Born in Kaduna, northwestern part of Nigeria, the professor, who is an indigenous of Ibuzo in Oshimili North local government area of Delta State, served as a special advisor to former President Shehu Shagari during the Second Republic. He cuts a jack and master figure in all the trades he touches, leaving a trail of excellence as he moves on to the next one. A serious-minded individual, Professor Pat Utomi reflects on the state of the nation as he marks another milestone in his life.
Let's not pretend about it. We are not where we should be. As a society, we're not facing the right direction. But the reason that we're not facing the right direction is because our values are wrong. Our incentive system, structure, inappropriate. So we need to change these values, and we can begin to do things much better if these values are different.
His friends and family turned out to celebrate him as he clocked the diamond age of 60. Here at the Perpetual Help Catholic Church on Victoria Island, Lagos, a Thanksgiving service holds to culminate the series of events that heralds the professor's birthday celebration. And this service is led by the Catholic Archbishop of Lagos, Most Reverend Dr. Alfred Adewale Martins, as well as other bishops.
Life is a life of thanksgiving, so you have to give thanks in the way that we know how, in worship. So we went to church and we spent some time. So it wasn't really anything extraordinary. It was just an opportunity to teach.
Although grateful to God for sparing his life to this day, the mass communication graduates from the University of Nigeria in Nsukka is still unhappy with the way the country is moving.
One of the things that really make for progress is the nature of the public sphere, the fertilization of ideas. And I see people who are afraid of ideas. Once people are afraid of ideas in public life, society is put in a very difficult corner. So I think it's important now to begin to think, how can we build the public sphere in Nigeria?
He also lent his voice to the ongoing fight against corruption led by President Muhammadu Buhari.
You know, I've said several times that this business of talking about selective doesn't really wash with me. And I said this when Obasanjo was doing that. I say, let them select, let them go after their enemies. By the time they finish with their enemies, their friends would have to be turned to. I said it several years ago, I say it again today. Corruption is corruption, it should not be accepted. The only one that I would fight is when injustice in picking people who are not corrupt and wearing a toga of corruption on them. That's the one I'll fight.
The situation in the country did not in any way dampen his spirit, as the show must go on. Professor Pat Utomi and his lovely wife of over 30 years, Ifoma, as well as their children, hosted guests to a soiree which held at Moson Center. The reception registered more personalities like the chairman of Zenith Bank, Mr. Jim Ovia, founder of Philip Consulting, Mr. Felicia Phillips, legal icon Chief Christopher Okubanjo, former Minister of Health, Prince Julius Adelusi Adeluyi, advertising practitioner, Mr. John Edozie, MD of Guardian Newspapers, Mrs. Maidi Nibru, human rights lawyer, Mr. Femi Falana, Imo State APGA governorship candidate, Captain Emmanuel Iheanacho, as well as other important guests. Stepping into the Diamond League is not only a testimony of how he's loved by his maker, but also by personalities who came out to share the joy of the day with him. In all of these, Professor Utomi says he owes his success to the support from his family.
I have the good fortune of being married to a very bright, beautiful, and dutiful woman who has been a true partner.
At the cake stand, with his family forming a good backup, the celebrant cut his cake.
Indeed, this is a great milestone, and it is just so exhilarating, to say the least, to have the privilege of celebrating. Like my husband always says, he says, you know, we all know the life expectancy in Nigeria, and it's just about maybe 45. So for him to get to 60 is what a celebration.
And then the floor is open, and the celebrant and his wife shows us some local dance steps.
Did you see me do the native Anyoma boogie? Oh yeah, I love that stuff. I think there was somebody who was so scandalized, who was a big chief from Ogwashuku. He says, Pat can do that? Oh my God, I'm ashamed of myself.
With much laurels to show for his hard work, the celebrant, whose hobbies include playing squash and reading, says as he turns 60, it's time for him to retire.
At 60 in Nigeria, you officially retire. And I guess retirement is an official change of mode of activity. Well, I hope I'll spend more time in my many villages. You know, it's hard to pinpoint my village.
It's another phase in the life of Professor Utomi, and here is wishing him many more years to celebrate in good health and sound mind.
I'm looking for them,